I'm going to tell you why the most important player on the Knicks might not be Brunson, Randall, Dante, or Josh Hart. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest, and let's get right into today's video. So the Philadelphia 76ers just got a beat down by the New York Knicks, and they lost by the score of 106-79. And one of the takeaways that I have from the game is OG Anunoby. He might be the most important player on the team. Hart had an amazing game. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. But OG Anunoby, first game back, what he's able to do when he's put back into the lineup, it's almost like everything becomes so much more easier for Brunson. Everything becomes so much more easier for Josh Hart, for everybody, Dante, everybody around. OG Anunoby, it's like the intensity that he brings on the defensive end, which then it converts onto the offensive end. It just helps boost everything up on the Knicks team. The confidence, the shot selection, the shot creation, everything is uplifted. But I think what OG Anunoby brings to the table, that might be the most important thing, is the fact that he creates easy buckets. There were a couple times in today's game where you could see that OG Anunoby brought the defensive intensity, which led to steals, which led to fast breaks, and fast breaks are easy buckets. A lot of the times, I feel like Jalen Brunson is having to weave his way through the defense, having to get a foul called. Randall does that as well. And sometimes, man, we just need easy buckets. And OG Anunoby, the two times that I can think of right now, he caught a steal, he outletted the ball, and next thing you know, we got a fast break point. And the more and more easy buckets you can get, it just alleviates pressure off the offense. And of course, in the playoffs, everybody knows that the type of the gameplay slows down, it gets more intense, it gets more physical. So the more easier buckets that you can get is just gonna help you out in the long run. OG Anunoby finished the game with 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Finishing 6 of 11 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point, and seeing those 2 3-pointers go down from the corner was chef's kiss. So now that we got 1/3 of our main players back, OG being back into the starting lineup, we still need Randall, we still need Mitchell Robinson. At least, Knicks fans, we can breathe a little bit and be a little bit relieved that OG Anunoby is back in the lineup because of just the offensive pressure that he takes off of Brunson's shoulders. Now that OG is back, the offense has a little bit more options. It has a little bit more answers as far as, and especially on the defensive end, teams can't really hone in on 1 or 2 type players. Now that OG's back, you got Brunson, you got Dante, you got OG, you got Hart. So in order for the defense to hone in on 1 type of player or even 2 types or even 2 players, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Hopefully OG Anunoby can stay healthy. Hopefully that elbow just keeps getting better and better as time progresses. And the more time goes on, the more that we'll get our players back. Randall, has been reported that he's still working out, no physical contact. He's still working out with the pads. But we got to wait and see what Randall's going to do. Josh Hart. Josh, the heart and soul of the team. You see what I did there? Yo, Josh Hart is I said it in one of the videos that I recorded with Chris. The more and more I watch Josh Hart, the more and more I appreciate him. He is your dirty man role player, but he's your dirty man role player that has a little bit more offensive power. He could put the ball on the floor. He has an average, decent 3-point shot, a mid-range. He has ball handles. Like, Josh Hart is like, he might be pretty good at everything on the floor. He rebounds a lot. And tonight's game, ended the game with a triple-double. Josh Hart ended the game with 20 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, 8 of 16 from the floor, 1 of 6 from 3, which isn't great, but Josh Hart is not known as a 3-point shooter, but he can make it. That's the point. If the ball is rotated to him and he's open, I would like my chances with Josh Hart taking that 3. Greg Anthony, and I forgot the other guy's name, they were on the call for tonight's game, and I think Greg Anthony brought up the point that just like, Josh Hart, it just seems like whatever the team is missing, and you could feel it within the game, if the team is missing a little bit of aggressiveness, if the team is missing a little bit of just hustle and spirit and aggression, like Josh Hart is going to be able to bring that to your team. And then when your team needs a bucket, Josh Hart more than likely is going to end up with an and one. He's going to hit a key shot, a 3-pointer or a mid-range. Like, I don't know, man. Josh Hart, like, I'm so glad that we have him on our team, especially with the bodies that we have out. But when everybody comes back and the starting 5 is formed back once again, I am so happy that Josh Hart is going to be coming off the bench. Like, I think Knicks fans, we are adoring Josh Hart right now. He checked out of the game and the MSG crowd went crazy because we are realizing what we're seeing with Josh Hart. He's putting it all on the floor for all of us to see. And again, as Knicks fans, all we want to see someone who's going to be on the floor and give it their all. And before I wrap up tonight's video, I also got to talk about the two other Nova boys, Donte DiVincenzo ending the game with 16 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 of 11 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3-point. 4 of 11 from the field, not great. 4 of 9 from 3 points, a little bit better. I like how Donte came out tonight. You could tell that he was a little bit more aggressive with his shot, especially after that little kerfuffle or whatever he had with Kelly Oubre. There was also a moment tonight where Kelly Oubre and him had a little bit of a moment, but Donte kind of shrugged it off and he just kept playing. Yeah, Donte, we're going to need him, man. We're going to need him down the stretch. We're obviously going to need him in the playoffs. His game was okay tonight. Would I have liked to see him play a little better? Of course. But we did get the W, and it ended up being a really big blowout, so it's okay. So now the main Nova boy out of those 3 Nova boys, Jalen Brunson, our leader, the best player on the Knicks, ended the game with 20 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 7 of 12 from the field, and 4 of 8 from 3-point. 50% from 3-point line, not bad. Not too shabby. One thing about Jalen Brunson that I'm getting a little worried about is the more and more I watch him, the more and more it seems like he's just getting nicked up, man. He's getting nicked up, he's getting banged, he's getting bruised, and I think it was like beginning of the second half, or it might have even been in the first half, where he was like laboring, he was like grabbing his hip, and it seems like he's always like on the floor, it seems like he's always getting hit. I'm just a little worried that Jalen Brunson down the stretch is gonna wear out. We obviously need him fresh and spry in the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, everybody's dealing with some sort of a knick-knack injury. But if we could keep him and have him fresh as possible, it's obviously going to pay dividends in the end. And speaking of Brunson being in the game and having these little knick-knack injuries, so I made a note on my phone that Brunson was in the game with 6:45 left, and the score was 94-66. So I know Chris is not going to like that, because one of the things with Chris, one of his gripes with Coach Tibbs, is that he rises players. It's not just Chris. That's kind of like just the NBA media. That's, if you're a hooper, you kind of know ever since Coach Tibbs was the head coach of the Chicago Bulls with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, Jimmy Butler. Like that's kind of Coach Tibbs' stigma. He just rises players. But yeah, tonight is another example that Chris is going to be able to point at. 6:45 with the score of 94-66. I don't think he's going to like that. One of the last notes I had, in the first half, Brunson was on the bench, and we had a lineup of Bogey, Deuce, Josh Hart, Precious, and Donte DiVincenzo. That lineup was egregious. It was just turnover after turnover. It was shot clock violations. There was no movement. There was no body movement. There was no ball movement. And that's surprising, because you got Bogdanovich, who could create his own shot. You got Deuce, who's been coming on strong, being confident and being able to create his own shot, dunking on people as well. Josh Hart, I just talked about him. Donte DiVincenzo, obviously, he's an offensive weapon. Precious is the only one out of that lineup that's like, okay, like if we need a bucket, we're not going to throw the ball to you. Hopefully you get a rebound and you can just clean it up. But I don't know, man. I was watching that lineup and I was like, Coach Tibbs, please don't ever throw this lineup out again, because for some reason it was just, like I said, it was a bad lineup. Turnovers, shot clock violations, and it looked like everybody was just like awkward and not knowing what to do, set a screen or cut. It was like everybody was just looking super weird, and we ended up getting the win, so that lineup didn't hurt us, and we ended up blowing out the Philadelphia 76ers, so it really didn't hurt us. But when I was watching it, I was like, this lineup is just horrible, man. And again, I hate to rag on Precious, man, but Precious is just, it seems like Precious, there's moments where he's super not confident with the ball, and like he's passing the ball when somebody's not even looking at him. I don't know. I just don't like what I see from Precious. There are moments and glimpses that I see from Precious that I like, but tonight was another example where I'm just like, yo, I think you should be better than what you are. But this is not a hate on Precious video. This is a Knicks just blew out the Philadelphia 76ers, and we got our lick back. We ended up going 1-1 with the Philadelphia 76ers, and I recently put out a video. It was talking about Joe Ingles' comments about Donovan Mitchell and the trade rumors being linked to the Knicks. But in that video, I talked about how the next 10-game schedule for the Knicks, and the first 2 games I called a split. I said we were going to split 1-1. I didn't expect the Knicks to come out like they did on Sunday, super lackadaisical, and Philadelphia just came out and punched us in the face. So we had to get our lick back, and I'm glad we did. But that's it for tonight's video, guys. I want to say thank you for checking it out. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of the Knicks' effort against the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. But until next time, you guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. Taj Gibson for president, even though he's on the Detroit Pistons. He's always going to be a Knick forever. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs, and we out. Peace.